Hi, seems to have been a lot of interest in my shots that I've done on my little project with this iPhone game controller. It's just a bit of fun really there. In the last few years I've refurbished about 30 Game Boys, so I end up with a load of broken shells, bits and pieces out of ones. I never destroy any Game Boys, I either fix them or sell them on for somebody else to fix them. So this is just a bit of fun really. I do have Game Boys. I've got funny playing what's it called? FPGBC. So I play all my real game cartridges on that. But I had been playing Delta when it came to the iPhone and playing Game Boy games on there when I was sat in my car in between appointments with my job. But I didn't like the touch control. I had bought an 8-bit do micro game controller on a Black Friday once, but I found it was good, but it were really small and it were too big for my big fat fingers. So I wondered if I could make something using some of my leftover crappy shells that I have to make a controller to fit the iPhone in. It's had a few revisions and this is the latest thing, so it's mainly made from some third-party GBASP shells. That bit in there's the lid, it's all been dremeled down. Even the little bits stuck on here on the side, they're all bits of Game Boys. Inside, this is the PCB from the 8-bit do micro. So I worked out, well not hard really, where to solder the solder points so I could connect it to the buttons. And then a chap sold me a PCB that's similar to this one, that's used for some Raspberry Pi projects. Not exactly the same as this, but I knew obviously if I just tapped into these points where the Pi would be, I could get this to work. Because it's, you know, I can't design my own PCB, and I saw this as an easy way to do it. I did want the shoulder buttons separate, so I cut with a tile saw actually across here, so I could have this bit, and then I've got these little these little buttons that soldered in there, and then like the original SP, bought some of these. So like a few pound off eBay. I soldered them wrong originally, said they were really clicky and awful unresponsive, but I've had a few goes and I've learned how to solder these now. And then there's even the smaller ones. So they seem to work really well. And that's literally just wired up to that, and that's essentially what it is inside. All these buttons work, shoulder buttons work. I know some people were concerned that I'd used a Pokemon cartridge, but this is just a fake one off AliExpress where I've cut. You can see in there's a bit of Lego and some of the wires. You can see the reset button. Originally the USB charging was at this side, but I didn't want to be taking this bit out all the time because I don't need to really access those buttons, so I rigged together a little USB-C lead that I switched the PCB round, and then it comes out the back here now, so I can charge the 8-bit do micro inside via this, and also you can connect it to a PC with a lead coming out the front, out the back, so that just makes it a bit cleaner, and I don't really need to take that out now. And it's literally just there just to fill the gap. But these are just cheap AliExpress cases that Ella bought to refurbish Game Boys, but they probably weren't good enough, or they were horrible quality, so they've just been cut up and glued together. So originally I used Delta, but with Delta the emulator, the screen is in the wrong position for this that I've made. and I moved to RetroArch because RetroArch puts the game at the top of the screen, so that's the only reason I use RetroArch. And RetroArch supports different games, so I can do that. This button here connects it to the iPhone. You can see it there. It comes up and shows a bit. Oh, it's just flipped off there. So this now controls that. Plug that in there. It just helps it make it a little bit thinner. It's just sat in there. It's not connected to anything. You can't charge it or anything. I've tried to make that bit as thin as I can. We're still having real buttons in there. And that's it. I mean, obviously this game doesn't use the shoulder buttons, but gives you the idea. Start button works. Trying to pull it through the camera's out, but I think you get the idea. These would work if I wanted to, we're using a GBA game. But, it's not everybody's cup of tea, and people say, oh, why do you just buy an ambony, can't do this, do that. I enjoy making things, so really that's what it's about for me, and I have a big pile of literally 20-30 shells that are doing nothing, that are cut up and made into different things. I made clocks and all sorts of things. So really we're just to give another look at this really and update what it looks like currently. I think if somebody could design PCBs and shells, they could make this really thin. So it could be a nice novelty item where it was not thick like this on the back. £20. I live in the UK, so you could sell it as a novelty item, just for casual gamers really. But I use it when I'm out and about. I have it in my car, and then I'm waiting to go into an appointment. I play this because I find it better than using the touch controls, and I don't need to take a Game Boy with me or take all my games with me. Thanks for listening. Thank you.